Hey guys, welcome to another Honkai Star Rail video. I'm currently playing the closed beta. It's actually a second time I'm participating in a Honkai Star Rail beta, so I think I'm getting the hang of things. Today I wanted to discuss whether or not as a Genshin Impact player you should play, or try at least, Honkai Star Rail. Obviously it's gonna play very different. It's a turn-based game, which is of course also why it makes sense that a question comes up a lot to compare the two and to ask if Genshin Impact players would actually like this. So I'm just gonna give my perspective as a massive Genshin Impact fan who is not that big on Honkai Impact. Yeah, let's go. So let's cut to the chase and discuss the obvious difference, the gameplay system. If you like Genshin for the fast-paced action, complete freedom and like jumping around and jumping into battles, leaving the battles whenever you please, then Honkai Star Rail may not be the game for you, because obviously once a battle starts, you're stuck in it and you have to finish it, and it's turn-based, so it's not very fast. But, here comes the but. There is a lot of strategic depth in Honkai Star Rail's combat, and if you like the team building aspect of Genshin Impact, you like the strategic thinking, making teams, thinking how characters work together, then you're still gonna get that same, all that stuff in this game as well. And I mean, the strategic aspect is even bigger, arguably, in Star Rail. Because you really have to carefully time your attacks, and you can't rely on dashing out of combat whenever it suits you. So in a way, it's even the strategic aspect can even be seen as more important than Genshin. So if you like that, you want to play another game like that, then this is great. A bit slower, yes, but great. So I think one specific gameplay aspect there is that you might be worried about is whether or not you can skip battles. If you are forced into battles against weak enemies all the time, you know you're gonna win them and they're just not that interesting. That's actually quite a common turn-based game issue. Reminds me of when I was a kid playing the Pokemon games, when I was like afraid to walk through the high grass because I was afraid that some random Pokemon would attack me and then I would have to fight them, and I didn't feel like fighting them at that moment. But there is good news if you're concerned about that. In Star Rail you can actually avoid a lot of common battles. You can actually, often they will put enemies in your path, but you can run past them really fast and they will notice you and you will see a red exclamation mark, and they want to attack you, but they can't because you're sprinting past them. So in that way you can avoid a lot of small battles if you don't want to engage with those enemies. Basically the same as running away from a hilly troll. Alright, I also wanted to mention you do have an autoplay option and a speed button, so you can speed up the animations, the combat animations if you want. And if you do get stuck with a boring small enemy, you can just press autoplay and the battle will end for you. Like, sit back, relax, have a coffee and return to get the rewards. Just to clarify, you can't use autoplay against boss fights or quest fights, of course, and you really don't want to use it against a difficult enemy, trust me. Let's look at weapons and character building next. Weapons in Star Rail are called light cones, and they are different from Genshin, but also quite similar actually. Wait, let me just start by saying many of the character building things are super similar in Honkai Star Rail compared to Genshin, which can also be a reason to play it, because you don't have to get familiarized with new gameplay aspects all over again. There is a refinement system, ascension, talent system. Talent system looks like a skill tree. You just unlock passive abilities. There's sort of an artifact system. It's called a relic system here. And regarding the light cones, you don't really have different weapon types, but your character has one of several paths. And to put it simply, a path determines what kind of light cone the character can equip. So it's still like a polearm character can only equip a polearm in Genshin, but in this case is a certain path character can only equip a certain type of light cone. I must say one thing that I like better in Genshin Impact that Star Rail doesn't have. It's about the light cones. They don't actually have a physical form. So your character, they can equip one and they get those stats, but they don't visibly change their weapon. So if you really like weapon types and equipping different weapon types and styling them together with character outfits or something, then you're not going to get that here. Minor detail. Also, if you're really into Genshin Impact's elemental reaction system, then you might be a bit disappointing to learn that you don't have that in Star Rail. You still have elements and you have to look for the opponent's weakness to a certain element and then of course attack with that element. But you can't build whole teams around reactions and have all these cool explosions happen in front of you. It's different in that way. You just you don't have that part of the gameplay. Next up, visuals. I think we can be very brief on this one. If you like the anime-like art style of Genshin Impact, if you like those colors, the design of the characters, then you're gonna love Honkai Star Rail, of course, because it's basically the same. Ooh, and I should also mention the music. The music is also, like Genshin, really good. They always, Hoyo first is so big on the music, and yeah, I like that. That's great. So, you know what else is important to Genshin Impact players? Exploring. So, regarding exploring the world, of course it's going to be very different because in Honkai Star Rail you do not have an open world like you have in Genshin Impact. It is not an open world game. Exploration is more limited. The maps are like small, tiny places, small maps, small sections. You can't run around, climb buildings, glide down from things. There's not that kind of freedom. And while I understand that this may be a major turn off to Genshin Impact players, I also really do wish to emphasize that there's still a lot of things to discover. You can still explore just on smaller maps. And the scenery is still really awesome. It's still like this sci-fi, cool space cities and stuff. It's still nice. It's worth running around in. And you do have a fast travel system, which is also really great. It's very free. Like you can basically travel between the maps, the different maps, using the fast travel system whenever you want. There's even when you're doing a main quest, it's you can go wherever. So next I think I should mention quests. If you like Genshin Impact's questing, just learning about the world, go adventuring with other characters, then this is definitely the game for you, because this game just has more of that. There are Trailblaze quests, which are basically arcade quests, world quests, what are they called? Adventure quests, I believe. Yeah, and I'd say storytelling wise so far it's kind of the style is kind of similar. It's pretty wholesome, a lot of interaction between characters, not gory and bloody of course. It's it's pretty Genshin like so far, and I like it a lot. Next I wanted to discuss skip buttons. Some of you Genshin Impact players really dislike the fact that you can't skip cutscenes or dialogue in general in Genshin Impact. And I am going to have some not so great news for you. Because you can't do that either in Honkai Star Rail, so that is not a reason to play it. However, if you fail a quest and you have to redo a battle, then you can actually skip the cutscenes that you have already seen, but only if you have already seen them. Don't ask me how I know that. Right, and for our final issue that may actually be the biggest hurdle when starting to play Honkai Star Rail as a Genshin Impact player, it's a lack of time. Like Genshin, it looks like this game is going to be a live service game, and I expect a lot of events, a lot of stuff you can participate in, regular updates with new quests and stuff. So yeah, it's gonna take hours and hours. Like, you will never see your wife or kids or whatever, husbands, again, ever. They may not want you to play Honkai Star Rail. I guess we just got to the conclusion of my video. I'd say it really depends on what you're looking for. If you want a game with the same style and you actually like to get something different in terms of gameplay, then it's definitely a good option to play Star Rail. If you're looking for something that is like absolutely similar, just Genshin Impact in space, then this is not quite the game because of the differences in combat and exploration mostly. So as long as you're open to new mechanics, I would say definitely give it a try if you like Genshin Impact. Bye bye.